Hello students, continuing with module number 6, Capital Structure and Dividend Decisions. Today, under this module, we will be seeing EBIT and EPS analysis. As we all know that this module covers theory part which is there on the left hand side, and we have aspects where related to problem solving, leverages which we have already covered under module 6.2a. Today we will be seeing EBIT and EPS analysis, and I have named it as module 6.2b. Moving ahead, EBIT and EPS analysis. EBIT stands for earnings before interest and tax, and EPS stands for earnings per share. Now this kind of analysis helps us to know what is the optimal capital structure for a firm. So let us see the meaning. It is an important tool for analyzing the capital structure of a firm, which includes debt and equity mix in different proportions. As you already know that when a company requires funds, it raises the funds through different sources, and the different sources through which it raises the funds become the capital structure of the firm, like through issue of shares, through issue of debentures, through issue of preference shares, by taking a term loan from a bank. This helps in understanding the impact of financial leverage under different financial plans. For example, two firms with same capital but different structure will be affected differently by change in EBIT. Students, suppose a particular firm wants a capital of 10 lakh rupees. Two firms want a capital of 10 lakh rupees. Now, though the amount of capital is the same, though the amount is same 10 lakh, but the structure will differ based on how differently the EBIT is going to change. Like suppose firm A is going to raise that 10 lakhs only through the issue of equity shares, whereas firm B can raise that 10 lakhs with the issue of shares as well as debentures. So though the capital is the same, the structure for both the firms A and B is different, and then because the structure is different, both the firms will be affected differently if there is any change in the earnings. EBIT is nothing but earnings before interest and tax. Now this analysis helps us in selecting an appropriate financial plan by finding the highest value of EPS. See, every firm wants a capital structure which is optimal or best for the company. So, with the help of EBIT and EPS analysis, it can get the optimal capital structure which is the best capital structure. The combination of either debt equity or only equity or preference shares and equity, which is going to be the best structure for the firm, can be analyzed with the help of EBIT and EPS analysis. Now suppose if there is multiple financial plan, how will a company based on this analysis derive as which capital structure is optimal? So whichever has a highest EPS is earnings per share. So whichever capital structure is going to have the highest earnings per share, that particular capital structure will be selected by the company or should be selected by the company because it is going to be the optimal capital structure for a particular firm. So here under this analysis, what is the most important is the calculation of EPS, because based on the highest EPS, a particular financial plan is going to be selected. So let us see how to calculate this EPS. Earnings per share is nothing but, first you have to take earnings before interest and tax. What is earnings before interest and tax? Where interest is not deducted and that is tax is not deducted. So from earnings before interest and tax, first we deduct I, which is nothing but interest, then we deduct T, that is nothing but tax. So earnings before interest and tax less interest, we get EBT, that is earnings before tax. Before tax means tax is yet to be deducted. So we deduct Then we get earnings after tax. After earnings after tax, we know that first whatever earnings is available with the firm, after giving out to the outsiders, it has to first give dividend to the preferential shareholders, and whatever is remaining after giving the preference shareholders, it belongs to the equity shareholders. We already are aware of this. So earnings after tax less preference dividend will give you earnings available to equity shareholders. But here we want to calculate earnings per share. So we also require number of equity shares. So earnings per share is nothing but A divided by B, where A is earnings available to equity shareholders and B is number of equity shares. So when you divide the total earnings available to equity shareholders by the total number of equity shares, you get earnings per share. Now based on this earnings per share, you will calculate this earnings per share for different financial plans, that is for different capital structures, and you will select that particular capital structure which is going to have the highest EPS. Now, once again, we'll just go through this. EBIT, less interest will give you EBT, less tax will give you EAT, that is earnings after tax. You can even call earnings as profit. So either you can say profit after tax or profit before tax or profit before interest and tax. Both mean the same. Less preference dividend. See, preference dividend you will deduct only when the capital structure of a particular company will be having preference shares. Suppose if the company is not having preference shares at all, so it will not be preference dividend, right? Because preference dividend is paid to preference shareholders. So this will come into picture only when the company is having preference shares. So less preference shares, if the company is not having preference shares, then there will be no question of preference dividend, then it will be zero. We get earnings available to equity shareholders. Then we will also need number of equity shares for calculating earnings per share. Earnings per share is nothing but earnings available to equity shareholders divided by number of equity shares. So in EBIT and EPS analysis, calculation of EPS is at most important because based on the highest EPS, you are going to make a decision as to which is the optimal capital structure for a particular firm. Moving ahead, now let us see problems on EBIT and EPS analysis. Okay. So we are dealing with module 6, that is capital structure and dividend decisions. Today we will be seeing sums on EBIT and EPS analysis. So whatever sums I have taken in this particular video lecture is relating to the sums from previous year's question paper. So previous year's question paper 2017, we have this particular sum. Let me just read the sum. ABC company is currently on ordinary share capital. Whenever the word ordinary share capital is there, it means it is nothing but equity share capital. Another name for equity share capital is ordinary share capital of rupees 25 lakhs consisting 25,000 shares of rupees 100 each. The management is planning to raise another 20 lakhs to finance for an expansion program. So currently already the company is having 25,000 equity shares of rupees 100 each currently it is having, and further the management is planning to raise 20 lakhs amount. Now how it wants to raise this 20 lakhs amount? The options are: option number 1, entirely through ordinary shares; option B, 10 lakhs through ordinary shares and 10 lakhs through debt of 8% per annum. Option C is rupees 5 lakh through ordinary shares. Again, ordinary shares is nothing but equity shares. And rupees 15 lakhs through debt at the rate of 9% per annum. Rupees 10 lakhs through ordinary shares and rupees 10 lakhs through preference shares with 5% dividend. The company's expected EBIT is 8 lakh rupees. Assuming tax rate is 50%, determine EPS and comment which alternative is best and why. So now they have given us four options that if the company is raising this additional 20 lakhs by equity shares, by a combination of equity and debt, by a combination of equity and debt, and by a combination of equity and preference, then which is the optimal capital structure? Now we already know if you want to decide on the optimal capital structure, we have to calculate EPS. So let us see the solution. Calculation of EPS. So we are going to select that particular option which is going to have the highest EPS. Now how to calculate EPS? We have already seen the format. So whenever you will get sums on this particular EBIT and EPS analysis, write the format as it is. That is EBIT less interest is EBT, less tax will give you EAT. Then let's press preference dividend, you will get earnings available to preference shareholders, then number of equity shares and EPS. So always whenever you have problems on EBIT and EPS analysis, write the format as it is. Now we will move ahead in solving the problem further. So we have how many options? Four options. So we write option A, option B, option C and option D. Okay, so we know that the company's expected EBIT will be 8 lakh rupees. So we know that EBIT is same whether it is any option, it is 8 lakh rupees. So we have written EBIT as 8 lakh. Now less interest. See what is this interest means? This interest means interest to debenture holders or maybe any interest given to a bank for the loan taken. Here in option number A, is the 20 lakh rupees raised through loan or debentures? No. So there is no question of interest arising in option A. So it is taken as nil. Now in option B, there is an 10 lakh rupees is raised through debentures of 8% per annum. So interest is always calculated on the face value. So 10 lakhs into 8% is how much? 80,000. Now for option C, here it is 15 lakhs at the rate of 9% per annum. So 15 lakh into 9% it will give you 1 lakh 35,000. Now option D, you have to check whether option D is having debentures. When there is no debentures and there is no bank loan, the question of interest will not come. So you can just write nil or 0. Next we get EBT. Now what is EBT? EBIT less interest. So 8 lakh minus interest, you get 8 lakh. On the similar lines you can minus EBIT and interest and you will get EBT. Now after minusing interest, your next step is you have to deduct the tax. Now here already is given that tax is at 50%. Tax is always calculated at EBT. So 8 lakh into 50% will give you 4 lakh. 7 lakh 20 into 50% will give you 3 lakh 60. 6 lakh 65,000 into 50% will give you 3 lakh 32,500 and 8 lakh into 50% will give you 4 lakh. You will get EAT, earnings after tax. That is nothing but EBIT minus the tax. So you get 4 lakh and accordingly respectively it is calculated for option B, option C and option D. Your next step is you have to deduct preference dividend. I told that you have to deduct preference dividend only when preference shares is there in the option. Now in option A, there is no preference shares, so no preference dividend because preference dividend is only paid to the preference shareholders. So suppose the additional 20 lakhs is not raised to preference shares, the question of preference dividend will not come into picture. Next, in option B also there is no preference shares, therefore preference dividend is not deducted. In option C also the company has not raised through preference shares, so preference dividend is not deducted. Now in option D, the rupees 10 lakhs through ordinary shares and rupees 10 lakhs through preference shares with 5% dividend. So here the preference shares are there. So dividend is 5%. So 10 lakh into 5% you get 50,000. Then you get earnings available to equity shareholders. That is nothing but EAT less preference dividend. So similarly for all the four options you got to calculate 4 lakh, 3 lakh 60 minus 0 is 3 lakh 60, 3 lakh 32,500 minus 0 is 3 lakh 32,500 and 4 lakh minus 50,000 is 3 lakh 50,000. Next comes is number of equity shares. Now, for option A, first of all, what is the current equity shares that ABC Limited is having? See here the first sentence. ABC company is currently on ordinary share capital of 25 lakhs consisting of 25,000 shares of 100 each. So we know that 25,000 equity shares the company is having at currently. So currently it is having, so for all the options 25,000 will be fixed because these options are only to raise the additional 20 lakhs, whereas 25,000 is a fixed for all the options. So 25,000 equity shares are there. Next, option A. Now, in option A, entirely this 20 lakhs is raised through ordinary shares. I already told you ordinary shares is nothing but equity shares. Now, since the face value is not given, we have to consider it to be as 100. So, they are going to raise 20 lakhs through equity shares. That means how many equity shares will be there? 20 lakhs divided by 100, assuming 100 per share, you get the amount as 20,000 number of shares. In option B, 10 lakhs ordinary shares. So 10 lakhs means 10 lakhs divided by 100, 10,000 equity shares, number of equity shares. Option C, 10 lakhs through ordinary shares. Sorry, option C, rupees 5 lakhs through ordinary shares. So 5 lakhs divided by 100, you get 5,000 rupees. And option D, rupees 10 lakhs through ordinary shares. So 10 lakhs divided by 100, 10,000. See students, this is only number of equity shares which they are having presently also and in future also if they are planning to raise the funds. So just add the present and the amount that they are planning to raise. 25,000 plus 20,000, number of equity shares is 45,000, 35,000 for option B, 30,000 for option C, and for option D 35,000. Next is to calculate EPS. Now how do you calculate EPS? It is nothing but earnings available to equity shareholders divided by number of equity shares. So it is 4 lakh divided by 45,000, which is rupees 8.88 for option A. On the same lines you got to calculate for option B, C and D. So EPS is nothing but earnings available to equity shareholders divided by number of equity shares. Now, which is the option you will use through which you will recommend ABC company that they can raise the additional funds of 20 lakhs? You will select that particular option which is going to have the highest EPS. Now among the four options, which option is having the highest EPS? It is option C. Option C is having an highest EPS of rupees 11.07. Therefore, this option should be selected. So what is this option? That is, if the company wants to raise additional 20 lakhs, it can raise by issuing 5 lakhs equity shares and 15 lakhs through debentures, issue of debentures. So you can write recommendation. Option C is the best reason it has the highest EPS. So this option C is going to be the best optimal structure for a particular company. Moving ahead to the next problem. This problem was from the previous year's question paper 2016. I'll just read the problem. ARC has currently equity capital consisting of 15 lakh equity shares of rupees 100 each. So currently it is having how much? 15 lakhs. Oh sorry, 15,000 equity shares currently it is there. So in our calculation of number of equity shares, 15,000 whatever is there, so that you have to write as it is. Next, the management is planning to raise 25 lakhs to finance a major program for expansion and is considering three alternative methods of financing. So first method is to issue 25,000 equity shares of rupees 100 each. Second, only through debentures. Third, only through preference shares. So the company's EBIT is 8 lakh and assuming that the corporate rate, that is nothing but the income tax rate, is 50%, determine the EPS in each alternative and comment on the results. So obviously we know that this is a problem where they are asking us that which is the best alternative or which is the best capital structure. So we are going to use EBIT and EPS analysis for this. Now, based on this analysis, how are we going to come to a conclusion? Based on the highest EPS. So, our solution will start with calculation of earnings per share. So, I told you all already that you have to first write the format as it is, and how many options are available? Option A, B and C. So what is the format? EBIT less interest will give you EBT, less tax will give you EAT, less preference dividend will give you earnings available to equity shareholders. Then you need to calculate the number of equity shares based on the option that you are going to select, and then last you have to calculate EPS. So let us start solving. Option A. We start first with the EBIT. EBIT is 8 lakh rupees. So uniformly we write at all the options 8 lakh rupees. Less interest. Interest, as I told you, only is given to the debenture holders or to the bank loan. So in case of first option, is 25 lakhs raised through bank loan or debentures? No. So there will be no question of interest at all. So either you can write dash, 0 or nil. Option B, to issue 8%, 25,000 8% debentures of 100 each. So yes, there is interest to be given to the debenture holders. Now how will you calculate interest? It is very simple. You always calculate interest on the face value. And when I say 8% debentures means the rate of interest is 8%. So 25 lakhs into 100 into 8% will give you 2 lakhs. 25,000 debentures into 100 into 8% will give you the interest of 2 lakh rupees. Now EBT. How do you get EBT? It is nothing but EBIT less interest. Next you have to deduct this tax at the rate of 50%. So tax is always deducted on EBT. So 8 lakhs into 50% is 4 lakhs, 6 lakh into 50% is 3 lakh, 8 lakh into 50% is 4 lakhs. You get earnings after tax, which is nothing but 4 lakhs, 3 lakhs and 4 lakhs respectively. Next you got to deduct as a preference dividend. Now preference dividend is to be deducted only when there is issue of preference shares. So let us see in option A whether there is a issue of preference shares. No. Option B whether preference shares are issued. No. Option C there is an issue of preference shares. Okay. So obviously we have to pay preference dividend. Now this 8% means nothing but it is percentage of the dividend, and dividend is again calculated on the face value. Therefore 25,000 into 100 into 8% is going to give you 2 lakh rupees as preference dividend. Since option A and B, the finance was not raised to the issue of preference shares, we are just going to write it nil. Therefore, we get earnings available to equity shareholders as EAT minus the preference dividend, which is nothing but 4 lakh, 3 lakh and 2 lakh respectively for option A, B and C. Next comes is calculation of number of equity shares. See, already existing is 15,000 equity shares before opting for these options. So 15,000 will write for all the options plus. Now in option A, you're planning to issue 25,000 equity shares. So plus it will be increased by 25,000. In option B, you are not going to raise through equity shares, only debentures. So no equity shares plus 0. And in option C, you are going to raise through preference shares. So question of equity shares is not there. Therefore plus 0. So therefore for option A, the number of equity shares is 25,000 plus 15,000, which is 40,000. Option B it is 15,000. Option C it is 15,000. Then you calculate EPS. EPS is nothing but earnings available to equity shareholders divided by number of equity shares, which is nothing but 10 for option A. On the same lines you got to calculate for option B and option C. Now which particular capital structure are you going to recommend to ARC Limited? You're going to recommend that particular capital structure which has the highest EPS. Now which is having the highest EPS? Option B, that is through only issue of debentures. Therefore option B is the best and should be adopted, reason it has the highest EPS compared to other alternatives. So we are done with problem number 2. Moving ahead to problem number 3. This is from the previous year's question paper 2018. So just let me read. Yadu company has a capital of rupees 1 lakh divided into shares of rupees 10 each. It has an expansion plan requiring an investment of another 50,000 rupees. So already it has 1 lakh capital which is divided into shares of 10 each. So what is the number of shares? 1 lakh divided by 10. So how many shares are there? 10,000 shares are already existing. Next, it has plans that it wants another investment of 50,000 rupees. Now the management is considering the following alternatives for raising the amount. That is through the issue of 5,000 shares of 10 each. Now here they just saying 5,000 shares. They have not mentioned whether preference equity. So when nothing is mentioned, you always assume it to be as equity shares. So issue of 5,000 equity shares of 10 each, issue of 5,000 12% preference shares of 10 each, and issue of debentures of rupees 50,000. Now the company's earnings before interest and taxes 40,000 per annum, which is subject to a tax of 50%. So you're required to calculate the effect of each of the above modes of financing on EPS, presuming EBIT continues to be the same even after expansion. EBIT increases by rupees 10,000 after the expansion. So here we need to give our answers in two parts. Part number A, we will be seeing that EBIT continues to be the same even after expansion, and part number B, where we will be seeing that EBIT increases by 10,000 even after expansion. So here we are going to see the present structure and proposed structure. In present structure, we know that it is having only 10,000 shares because it has a capital of 1 lakh rupees. So here EBIT is already given 40,000 per annum. And why are we calculating present and proposed structure? The reason being they are telling us to calculate the effect of each of the modes of financing. What is the effect when compared to the present structure? So we are writing EBIT as it is 40,000 for present structure is also 40,000, and for all the options it is 40,000. EBIT remains the same always. Less interest. Now in present structure it is having 1 lakh shares. So there is no question of debentures, no question of loans, so there is no interest. In option A also there is equity shares, so no question of interest. Option number B, it is preference shares, so no question of interest. Option C, it is having debentures of rupees 50,000. Now since the percentage of debentures, the percentage of interest that has to be paid to the debenture holders is not given, you have to assume it to be 10%. I am making it again clear, if the percentage of debentures is not given, the rate of interest to be given to debenture holders, always assume it to be 10%. So 50,000 into 10%, and make it sure that after the end of the answer, you write a note that assuming that the rate of debenture interest is taken at 10%. Then you get EBT. EBT is nothing but EBIT minus interest. On the same lines you have to do for everything. Less tax. Tax at the rate of 50%. Tax is always calculated on EBT. So 40,000 into 50%. On the same lines you have to do for option A, B and C. You get EAT. EAT is nothing but EBIT less tax. Less preference dividend. Now preference dividend will be deducted in only that situation where there are preference share. So first in the present they are having 1 lakh shares into 10 each. I told you in case if they are not specifying what type of shares, always assume it to be equity shares. So in present there is equity shares, there is no preference shares, so question of preference dividend will not come. Option A also there is only equity shares, so the question of preference dividend will not arise. In option B, there is 12% preference shares. Preference shares is always calculated on face value. So 5,000 into 10 into 12%, that is 6,000. Option C is only having issue of debentures, so the question of preference dividend will not arise. You get earnings available to equity shareholders. So 20,000, 20,000, 14,000 and 17,500. Earnings available to equity shareholders is nothing but EAT less preference dividend. Then number of equity shares. Present structure, you know, number of equity shares is 10,000. For option A it is 10,000 plus 5,000. Option B it is 10,000 since there is no equity shares. Option C it is 10,000 since there is no equity shares. So here we get 10,000, 15,000, 10,000 and 10,000. So earnings per share is nothing but earnings available to equity shareholders divided by number of equity shares, that is rupees 2, rupees 1.33, rupees 1.40 and rupees 1.75. Now among option A, B, C for the additional 50,000 to be raised, which particular option is the best? Which option is best? Which has the highest EPS? Now which is having the highest EPS? It is nothing but option number C, which is having highest EPS of rupees 1.75. Now they are telling us here, they have told us, let us know the effect also. Compared to the present, what is the effect of the proposed structure? Now dilution in the present EPS. Now present is 2. After raising additional 50,000, the EPS turned out to be 1.33. So the present EPS is reduced by how much percent? It is 1.33 minus 2. It by minus 0.67. There is a dilution. Dilution means the EPS has reduced when compared to the present structure. Next, 1.40 minus 2, it is nothing but minus 0.60, and 1.75 minus 2 is minus 0.2025. So dilution means decrease in the EPS compared to the present structure. Now in the above table, lowest dilution is in option C, that is issue of debentures. Now next, one part of the question we have completed. Next they are telling that EBIT increases by rupees 10,000 after expansion. So assuming it is increased by 10,000 after expansion, before expansion the EBIT was 40,000. Now it is increased by 10% after expansion. So now we have to consider EBIT as rupees 50,000. So we have considered 50,000 as the EBIT for the part 2. For present structure, it will be still 40,000 because present structure is without considering the expansion, and here EBIT is increasing after the expansion. So keeping all other, only EBIT will change, keeping all other calculations on the same grounds and on the same part as we have calculated above, you have to solve this, that is less interest, you get EBT, less tax, you get EAT, less preference dividend, you get earnings available to equity shareholders, number of equity shares, EPS and dilution against present EPS. In this part nothing has changed exception the EBIT. It has increased to 50,000 and based on EBIT the calculations have changed. So in this case, which is the best option? It is again option number C because it is having the highest EPS and it is having the lowest dilution. It is having the highest EPS, that is 2.25. That is why this particular option should be selected. Moving ahead to the next problem. This is from the previous year's question paper 2015. The capital structure of a company consists of an ordinary share capital of rupees 10 lakhs and 10 lakhs of 10% debentures. So presently it is having 10 lakhs debentures as well as 10 lakhs equity share capital. Sales is increased by 20% from 1 lakh to 1 lakh 20,000 units. The selling price is 10 per unit, variable cost is 6 per unit, fixed expenses is 2 lakh, income tax is assumed to be 35%. You are required to calculate the percentage increase in EPS, the degree of financial leverage at 1 lakh and 1 lakh 20, the degree of operating leverage at 1 lakh and 1 lakh 20,000 units, and comment on the behavior of operating and financial leverage in relation to the production from 1 lakh to 1 lakh 20,000 units. So this is a sum where it is a combination of a sum related to EBIT analysis as well as leverages. So this can be a case study. So in this module even I have covered case studies on EBIT and EPS analysis. So first they are telling us the percentage increase in EPS. To calculate the percentage increase in EPS, first we need to calculate EPS. So we are going to calculate EPS at 1 lakh units as well as 1 lakh 20,000 units. So EPS calculation starts with EBIT. Now how to calculate EBIT? It is nothing but sales revenue minus the variable cost you get contribution less fixed cost you get EBIT. And from EBIT if you deduct interest you get EBT, you deduct tax you get EAT, you deduct preference dividend you get earnings available to equity shareholders, then number of equity shares you get EPS. So let us start. Sales revenue is already given in the problem that it is selling price is 10 per unit. So if it is 10 per unit, for 1 lakh unit it will be 1 lakh into 10. For 1 lakh 20 units it will be 1 lakh 20 into 10. Variable cost is already given in the problem 6 per unit. So 6 into 1 lakh will give you 6 lakh and 6 into 1 lakh 20,000 will give you 7 lakh 20,000. When you deduct sales with variable cost, you get contribution 4 lakh, that is 10 lakhs minus 6 lakh, and 12 lakhs minus 7 lakh 20, you get 4 lakh 80,000. Less fixed cost will remain fixed irrespective of the level of increase in the sales. So even if the sales units are increasing from 1 lakh to 1 lakh 20, fixed cost will remain same. So 2 lakhs and 2 lakhs. You get EBT, that is contribution minus fixed cost. From that you will deduct interest. Now interest you are paying to the debenture holders. Here it is 10 lakhs debentures of 10% and interest is always deducted calculated on the face value. So 10 lakh into 10% will give you 1 lakh. Next EBT is minusing EBIT less interest and then less you get EBT. You have to deduct tax at the rate of 35% which is given. So 1 lakh into 35% will give you 35,000. 1 lakh 80 into 35% will give you 63,000. Then you get EAT, that is EBT less tax. Less preference dividend, since here there is only equity shares and debentures, there is no preference shares, therefore the question of preference dividend will not come. You can write it nil. Earnings available to preference shareholders will be EAT minus preference dividend, which is 65,000 here and 1,17,000. Now number of equity shares. How many equity shares are there? 10 lakh is the total amount and per share the amount is 10,000 100 rupees. So what is the number of equity shares? 10 lakhs divided by 100, which is nothing but 10,000. So how do you calculate EPS? Earnings available to equity shareholders divided by number of equity shares, which is rupees 6.5 and which is rupees, in this case it is 11.7. Now they want, in the first question they are asking the percentage increase in EPS. Now what is the increase in EPS? So how do you calculate the percentage increase in the EPS? First you calculate the difference. What is the difference? What is the increase? 11.7 minus 6.5. So what is the increase? It is 5.2. Now this increase we have to see in the form of percentage. 5.2 is the change in the EPS, increase in the EPS. So how to find out percentage change in EPS? Divided by EPS at 1 lakh. EPS, always percentage change is calculated by calculating the difference and dividing by the original value. So here 1 lakh is the initial value, so it is divided by EPS at 1 lakh, that is 6.5 into 100, since we have to calculate percentage. So increase in EPS percentage is by 80%. So at 1 lakh unit, if the earnings per share is 6.5, at 1 lakh 20,000 units, the earnings has increased from 6.5 to 11.7 and the increase is by 80%. Next, degree of financial leverage they are telling us to calculate. See here, option B, you have to calculate degree of financial leverage and degree of operating leverage both at 1 lakh and 1 lakh 20,000 units. Now we already know the formula for calculating financial leverage, which is EBIT divided by EBT. So at 1 lakh unit you substitute the figures. EBIT is 2 lakhs divided by EBT, which is 1 lakh, and for 1 lakh 20,000 units 2 lakh 80 divided by 1 lakh 80, you get the answer. Leverage answer is always written in number of times. Now degree of operating leverage is nothing but contribution divided by EBIT. So at 1 lakh units, the contribution is 4 lakh divided by 2 lakhs, you get 2 times. And at 1 lakh 20,000 units, it is 4 lakh 80 divided by 2 lakh 80, that is 1.71 times. You have to just substitute the figures in the formula to derive at the answer. So you have to also give here the comment. You have to also comment. So comment is EPS has gone up by 80% as a result of increase in production from 1 lakh to 1 lakh 20,000 units, and financial leverage and operating leverage both have gone down, thus the risk is also minimized. Now if you see here at 1 lakh unit it is 2 times, at 1 lakh 20,000 units it is 1.56 times, so it has gone down, the financial leverage has gone down. Operating leverage also at 1 lakh unit it is 2 times, and at 1 lakh 20,000 units it is 1.71 times, so it has gone down. So if it has gone down, the risk of the company is minimized. So the comment is done. Moving ahead to the next problem. This is from the previous year's question paper 2017 again, and it is fifth problem. Now, the selected financial data for ABC company for the current year 31st March are as follows. So you have particulars A, B, C. Now, variable expenses as a percentage of sales 66.67% means variable expenses is 66.67% of sales. For option B and option C similarly is given. Interest expense is 200 for option A, 300 for option B and 1000 for option C. Operating leverage is given 5 is to 1, 6 is to 1, 2 is to 1, that is nothing but 5 times, 6 times, 2 times. Financial leverage is 3 times, 4 times and 2 times. Income tax rate is given 35%, 35% and 35%. Prepare the income statement for ABC company. So let us see solution. So income statement, income is nothing but you have to find out the earnings, correct? So we start with sales. Format just write as it is, that is sales less variable cost, you get contribution, less fixed cost, you get EBIT, less interest, you get EBT, less tax, you get EAT. Okay, so first sales. Now is the information about sales given in the problem? No. So first we have to calculate the sales. So let us go to the working notes. I will show you all for company A, and on the same lines you have to do for company B and C. So first, in order to know the sales, we have to see what are the information available. We have information about interest, we have information about financial leverage, that is 3 times, and operating leverage 5 times. Making use of these information, we have to calculate the sales and EBIT. I will do it for option number A. You all have to do it for B and C companies. So for A company, how to calculate EBIT? First, we know that financial leverage, degree of financial leverage is calculated. The formula is EBIT divided by EBT. Now EBT is earnings before tax, means already interest is deducted, so it is EBIT minus interest will give you EBT. See, financial leverage is nothing but EBIT, okay, divided by EBT. So EBIT is there. How to calculate EBT? EBT is EBIT less interest. Will give you EBT. So EBIT divided by EBIT less interest. So already degree of financial leverage is given in the problem. For company A it is 3 times. Interest also is given, that is 200 rupees. For company A it is given that it is 200 rupees. So based on this, you are going to solve this equation. How are you going to solve the equation? Cross multiply. 3 EBT minus 3 into 200, that is 600, is equals to EBT. Therefore EBT is equals to 300. That is nothing but 300 divided by 600 divided by 3 to solve this equation. Next Next is you have to compute the sales. So how are you going to compute the sales? You're going to make the use of the formulas. So degree of operating leverage we have. Now we have degree of operating leverage. So what is the formula for degree of operating leverage? Contribution divided by EBIT. Now contribution can be also calculated by sales minus variable cost divided by EBIT. Now EBIT is already given, that is 300, and sales minus variable cost. Variable cost is given here as sixty-six point six seven percent. So 66.67% of S. So substitute the S and you will get the answer as rupees 4,500. Now computation of variable cost. After you got to know what is the sales, variable cost is nothing but 66.67% of 4,500, which is nothing but rupees 3,000. So by this we got to know the sales, we got to know the variable cost, and we got to know the EBIT. Just substitute in this format, and on the same lines you have to do it for company B and company C. So we have written sales as 4,500, which we have done through the working note. Variable cost we got. If we deduct this two, we get the contribution less fixed cost. Fixed cost is something which remains fixed irrespective of the level of output. Then less you got EBIT. When you deduct the contribution less the fixed cost, you got EBIT as 300 less interest, which is given here as 200. You got EBT, which is nothing but EBIT less interest, 100. Now from this 100 you will deduct tax at the rate of 35%, that is 100 into 35% is 35. EAT, earnings after tax, is 65. So based on how we calculated for A, on the similar grounds we are supposed to calculate for B and C. So this is how you have to make use of, already the leverages are given. You have to make use of the formulas of the leverages to calculate the missing figures like sales, variable cost and EBIT. So with this we complete the problems on EBIT and EPS analysis and case study on leverages and EBIT and EPS analysis. Moving back to the PPT. So we have already done with the problems on EBIT and EPS analysis. Thank you students, we have completed and we are at the end of module 6.2b, that is EBIT and EPS analysis, and by this we have completed the entire module 6. Thank you so much students.